Hello, my friends. This is the 1 month overview for Nvidia. That's NVDA is the ticker for the month of June 2022. It's currently June 5th, 2022, 8:06 p.m. The overall theme and behavior is going to be for the month is going to be we spike up to meet resistance, and then we decline with consecutively lower spikes up to meet resistance on the way down. Each of those spikes up, it looks like, as we have 1, 2, 3 major trade opportunities. It looks like in the midst of those spikes to open up short positions or protect against long. A lot of ground is covered here, but be wary. There's a spike up to meet resistance, and then there's a decline with consecutively lower spikes. So it looks like we have behavior out of the high is going to be a prominent decline on a multi-day chart that increases with momentum. Excuse me, I should say a behavior out of the month's high on a 1-day chart will be a decline that increases in momentum as we move forward throughout the day. And then a decline, the month's low, there'll be a prominent, on a multi-day chart, there'll be a prominent move to the upside, something like unexpected transpires, like, oh wow, that's great, and it really, like, it's just kind of like lucky. On the first, we have a decline to and through an important support level. It's a notable decline with one local low on a 1-day chart. So by local low, I mean on a 1-day chart for the first, you'll see one prominent low. On the second, we have a volatility that increases with volatility as we move forward throughout the day. There's a month's first low met there. And then on the third, we have multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance level, and one local high really up there. And an agreement between two leaders will be highlighted around that local high. There may be a holding pattern there. And there's one swing trade opportunity there on the third. Trough over the weekend. Range bound on the 6th. Either bound on the lower side or on both, upper end and the lower end, but range bound is the theme on the 6th. On the 7th, we have a cash in opportunity, looks like, for that swing trade that we had. And that swing trade on the 3rd would have been around, it would have taken place around a notable move to the upside. Looks like exiting that trade, still something having to do with the agreement between two leaders, being around the local high here on the 7th. There is a prominent decline out of that local high. There's a trade opportunity there. And then another move to the upside, it looks like we have as a trade opportunity as well to open up a position. On the 8th, we have a local high. We have a big move to the upside to meet a distant resistance level. And I think that sets us up on the end of the day there for a prominent decline. After hitting resistance, we would decline with consecutively lower spikes on the way down. Opportunity here, like the end of the 8th, it looks like, to open up short positions. That's the first main one. On the 9th, we have an important support level that's highlighted. Looks like we have a day trade opportunity in here. There's a lot of money can be made on the 9th. One local high, sharp decline from that local high, and also there'll be a trade opportunity in the midst of that decline. And then also an opportunity, matter of fact, it's not a day trade, it's an overnight trade from the 8th. There's an opportunity after a bit of decline. Looks to me like there's a rally early in the day on the 9th, so we rallied back. And then there's another trade opportunity at the end of the day on the 9th. 3 failed attempts to break through key resistance level on the 10th, followed by a sharp decline, and there's a cash-in opportunity on the 10th at the end of the day. Prominent crest. prominent crest on the 13th, from which we can the peace level actually is highlighted on both the 10th and the 13th. So there's an important price level there highlighted. Looks like we failed to break it on the 10th, and then on the 13th we may break it, open up high, but there's a decline from a month's crest there, down like a sideways fluctuation with a bearish trend. We have another steep decline in the midst of the 14th, but there seems to be like we're set up for a bit of a whipsaw here. Like it's a steep decline from what appears to be either a month's prominent crest or a month's high here on the 13th, 14th. One local low, two local highs, and a trade opportunity there in the midst of a steep decline from that high. On the 15th, a lot of ground covered. We have decline to and through a support to meet secondary support, and then we bounce along sideways, rotating along that support. On the 16th, a big move to the upside is met. A big move to the upside along a diagonal trend line. We break down through that with increasing volatility on the way down. That volatility carries over into the 17th, but we have a fast sudden move higher on the 17th that marks the end of a period of volatility, at least momentarily. It looks like that an agreement between two leaders highlighted again there, and a big move to the upside as a trade opportunity. I'm going to want to hold protection over the weekend. We have a sharp drop on the 20th, one local low on the 21st, and a opportunity. On the 16th is a second major opportunity to open up a short position. Protect against longs. So I'm gonna want to have protection going over into the weekend, and then we have on the 21st one local low, our third opportunity to open up major opportunity to open up a short position here on a multi-day chart. And the local low is going to form after we move higher through resistance and stay there briefly before breaking back down through resistance. Sorry guys, that was Uber. I gotta eat sometime. Sideways fluctuations out of the low on the 21st with a bullish trend, but that precedes a decline, and it looks like we have an important support level highlighted on a multi-day chart. Important support level highlighted on the 22nd with a decline. Either that decline, there's a decline there. There's a decline that starts early in the day on the 22nd. On the 23rd, we have two trade opportunities. Looks like probably a day trade opportunity in here, in the midst of a move higher, and then a sharp decline revisiting a past problem. There's going to be a prominent move to the upside, possibly like on a day chart. On a one-day chart, there'll be a big prominent move to the upside out of the low. And then a peace level is going to be highlighted as an important technical level, important resistance level near the high here on the 23rd. Likely the volume will peter out around that level. Hermes, no barking. On the 24th, we have a trade opportunity and around a big move to the downside. Out of the low, there's a big move higher. One local low, one local high. The local high is going to be reached when we move along a diagonal trend line, and then we break down through that trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. There's a big move. There's a big move to the downside on on the 24th. A big move to the downside. Trade opportunity there as well in the midst of that big move to the downside. It's possible that we have a major trough here. I think we probably have another month's trough here. That's my sense. It's not actually indicating it, but I'm getting that sense. And then on the 27th, we have a breakout. We have both breakout and an opportunity, another prominent opportunity to open up a short position or protect against long positions. Looks like towards the middle part of the day. Okay, so there's the third one was on the 21st. Looks like another one on the 23rd, and then the final one that's marked on here as the major opportunities is in the midst of this breakout higher on the 27th. There's an opportunity to open up short position or protect against long positions. End of a rally. It completes on the 28th with a big decline from a crest. Trade opportunity there. Piece of news comes out over the night, and it looks like so off of that rally higher, likely towards the end of the day, I'd likely be buying puts and then selling those puts on the 29th in the midst of that decline through multiple support levels. Something having to do with an agreement between two parties, again, between two leaders, I should say, or a merger of some kind. Could be a merger, and news about a merger, possibly. And then on the 30th, we have another big move. It's inverted, and the way that I've always, for the purposes of SO Meta, can get really confusing having ups and downs. It's like, what do you go with? Do you go with the definition of the card, or do you go with the direction of the card? Yada, yada, yada. So that used to really confuse me when I first started doing this years ago. So after a few years, I realized if it's inverted, it's an indication to pay special attention to that card, not to give it a different meaning. And so on the 30th, important move to the downside. Yeah, very prominent decline to the downside. It looks like possibly from we move higher overnight and then we drop again, and then we have sideways rotations along a important support level as the theme for July. That's Nvidia for June 2022, guys. Sorry about that break in the middle. Needed to help the Uber driver. But appreciate you watching. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Really help us out. And if you like this sort of stuff, you want to see more Nvidia, make sure you hit that like button, and we'll see what we can do. Most importantly, though, when you make money from this reading, pay it forward. I'll see you on the next one, guys.